A big question to watch for the Washington Nationals moving forward is what will they do at this year's trade deadline? And guys, I'm not going to lie, I'm kind of buying the fire sale.
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as the show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And while you're at it, make sure to search up Locked On Nationals wherever you get your podcast, including over on YouTube. Again, just search Locked On Nationals there. Later on in today's show, we will have a Reds-Nats series preview as Elly De La Cruz and the Cincinnati Reds come to town here. They have had a little bit of a disappointing season, in my opinion, but I think they could be up for a pretty solid second half of 2024. We'll have that preview for you a little bit later on in today's show. Second segment, the second half individual goals for 2024. I've got a few in mind. Hint, young prospects, young core. We'll have that for you and get into some goals for the Nationals. And again, individual goals and who we want to see step up and what are some numbers that we could look at. I'll have that for you in the second segment of today's show. But we start off discussing what will the Nats do at this year's trade deadline. And everybody, buckle up. You're going to be upset. I'm ready for a fire sale. I said it. I'm ready to sell the team. Yep. This episode of Locked On Nationals is brought to you by Booking.com. Booking.yeah, the right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rival. So check out Booking.com for your stay today. We get into it today with discussing the trade deadline. And this has kind of been a topic that I've been thinking about for quite some time. What do I do? Like, what do I want? I'm a Nationals fan. I root for the team. I cover the team. I do both. I can spin both plates at once. It's a nice thing to have. But what do I want? What is the end goal here? The end goal is for the Nationals, and really just for the big picture, is to have that 2019 season again. To have all these prospects come up. You develop your Juan Soto. You develop your Anthony Rendon. You develop your Trey Turner. You sign your Max Scherzer. You develop your Steven Strasburg. You have all those core pieces there. You develop them. You do all the things that you're supposed to do as a good organization. Now, what sets you up to get there? You have to sell, and you have to know when to sell. Hear me out for a second. There's a couple different names, and I'm going to kind of go through a different category for each of these guys. There's a must-sell list that I have, in my opinion, and one of these guys, in my opinion, fans will be livid about. And there's one guy who fits on the fence, but I do lean one way with him. We'll get into that later on. As far as my must-sell goes, though, and why I want to see these guys go, it's not because I don't like them. It's not because they aren't good players. It's just simply the right time to move on. So who fits in the must-sell category? Number one, Dylan Floro. Easy said and done. This guy's had postseason experience. Teams are going to be calling about him. He's had a bounce-back season considering where he was just last year, and he has been a reliable piece in this bullpen. Nobody's complaining about that. That was the entire deal when you signed Dylan Floro. This is what you expect. Derek Law, another guy who's had a bounce-back season, who has been solid. No questions asked there. You have to sell Derek Law. Trevor Williams, if he is healthy, you do sell him. Now, it is unfortunate considering we don't really know where he's at, and the rehab's going to take some time. You're not going to get back for what you once were going to get earlier on this season, but still trade him for whatever's out there. A baseball for all I care. He's not part of the future at this point. Trade Trevor Williams. Jesse Winker, the one guy, in my opinion, who you signed this year, going into the season, maybe not expecting all that much, was blown away his expectations. This is a guy who fits that. Let's see what this veteran can do. You sign him to a one-year deal. Can Jesse Winker have that bounce-back season again? This guy was an all-star at one point in time, back with the Cincinnati Reds. And if you look around the National League and even the entire Major League Baseball, they need outfielders. Jesse Winker, he's got some experience in the outfield over the years. Jesse Winker is going to get traded no matter what. And he has been a fan favorite, in my opinion, but still, you have to sell Jesse Winker. And it doesn't matter if you think like, the price isn't right for Jesse Winker. The quote-unquote right price for Jesse Winker is the best package of prospects, or even if it's just the best prospect available. That is the best price for Jesse Winker. That is the only price for Jesse Winker, by the way. If the Nationals were to hold on to him, this would be a complete epic failure. Yes, he has been great. I love Jesse Winker. I would buy his jersey if he was here long term, but he's not. That's not the plan. He does not fit in this future. You've got your James Wood. You've got Dylan Cruz coming up. And you've got other guys coming up as well who will likely be in the outfield. Maybe it's Seaver King someday. Who knows? He is not part of this future. It sucks to say goodbye to him. He has been a very good outfielder. But this is why you sign your veteran guys, in order to have their season turned around. Because again, this guy has been a well above average major league hitter, and it's not just because of luck. He has gotten back in shape. He has done all the right things. He has said all the right things. He's been a great teammate. He has been a scrappy little national out there. He's stealing bases. He is athletic. He's doing everything that you ask him to do. That is why you trade him. That will be of value to a team looking to make a nice little October push. The last and final guy on my must-sell list. This is where I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Kyle Finnegan. I love Finney. He's been a great closer. In my opinion, one of the better free agent deals that Mike Rizzo has struck over the last few seasons. Signed him from the Oakland A's after 2019. Never pitched a single game in the major leagues prior to coming here in 2020. Mike Rizzo signed him a major league deal, and everyone was like, who the heck is this guy? He was fine in year one, fine in year two, started to show some flashes year three, and ever since then, he's been really just broken out and has been a solid contending piece of this bullpen, and he is now an all-star closer. Kyle Finnegan's price tag will never be as high as it is than it is right now. You take whatever it is worth. Again, the same thing goes with Jesse Winker. Ask yourself this question. Is Kyle Finnegan going to be a part of this future? In my opinion, yeah, maybe the immediate future if you hold on to him. He could help you going into next year's postseason run. You're not going to win the World Series. And again, you have guys. If you look down in the minor leagues, again, Jose Frere coming off an injury. He's going to be making his major league appearance here hopefully within the next few weeks. Zach Brixey as well. Another guy who's looked really good so far while rehabbing down in the minors coming off TJ. These are two guys. I'm not saying they're going to be your closer, but they are showing a lot of stuff even coming off injuries. And again, you've got other pieces as well who could be that down the line. Maybe it's a Jackson Rutledge. Maybe you got a couple other arms like a Mason Thompson comes back from the dead after having Tommy John surgery and see what this kid can do. Or you trust Mike Rizzo and he'll fill that piece out. Kyle Finnegan, you sell for the best price, and that is it. No more thinking, no more questions. You sell Kyle Finnegan for whatever you can get at this year's deadline. Now, where I'm on the fence with the Lane trade. If it was up to me, I'm trading Lane Thomas. This is like a tug of war kind of question. I go one way and I go back to the other. But I think right now, as we're just about 2 weeks out from the trade deadline, Lane Thomas, I am trading him for the best package that you can get. The reality with Lane Thomas is this. He's good, but he's not great. Is he really a starting outfielder on a good contending team? I think he can be, but he's certainly not going to be your MVP. He's probably going to be your 7 or 8 hitter. And even then, if you look at his platoon splits, this is a trend. And it's a trend that's not just been over the course of this season. This has been his entire career. He is a platoon outfielder. He's only really going to hit left-handed pitching. He hits it really well, but still, if you're going to be an everyday contending kind of team, you don't really have that platoon outfield anymore. Now, a team like the Yankees could look at that and say, well, we have Alex Verdugo who hits right-handed pitching really well. We need someone who can hit left-handed pitching. Bam, you've got yourself a Lane Thomas right here, sitting here. The Nationals are willing to trade him. Teams out there may value that. But I truly think that Lane Thomas is really just a fourth outfielder at this point. That is kind of the gut feeling that I get. And again, I love the guy. He has been awesome from day one. You should like Lane Thomas. He has been a scrappy Nat. He has been all the right things here in DC. One of the better trades that Mike Rizzo has made since 2019, by far, outside of the Juan Soto deal, obviously. But as of today, I'm trading Lane Thomas. And I think the Nationals, I think that's what they just might do. I don't know 100%. I haven't heard anything about it. I would not be surprised to see the Nationals move off of Lane Thomas at this year's deadline. And one of those guys, as to why I think they should do that with Lane Thomas, is James Wood. I'll have that explanation for you. I think it does make sense. You may not like it, but I kind of love it. I'll tell you why I think that after we tell you guys about our friends over at Booking.com. This episode of Locked On Nationals is brought to you by Booking.com. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rival cities. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay, even in your baseball rival cities. So maybe you're going up to Baltimore when the Nationals take on the O's. You can find a nice little deal over at Booking.com and get a nice little treat in a hotel or a bed and breakfast maybe, and you can find a nice little stay there. Stay overnight, watch both games. It's awesome. I recommend that. You can find hotels that look over stadiums and family-friendly resorts. Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this Major League Baseball season. So the right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. So book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app. Now, let me tell you guys about our friends over at PrizePicks. And guys, we've talked about PrizePicks. You already know the drill. I love PrizePicks, and PrizePicks, America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. PrizePicks is the easiest, most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. Unlike other apps on PrizePicks, it's just you against the numbers. All you do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. Get on the daily action with your friends and become part of the PrizePicks community today. And of course, you can turn up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. And of course, PrizePicks is available in more than 30 states, including my home state, Virginia, maybe yours as well, including California, Texas, Georgia, and of course, plenty of others out there. They have 30 states that are live with PrizePicks. So download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on PrizePicks for a deposit match up to $100. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. We get back into it now with some goals for the second half of the Washington Nationals. And as I mentioned, coinciding, something that is kind of married, in my opinion. And the reason why I think Lane Thomas should be traded is because the Nationals have to do everything that they can to help James Wood prosper. You might be thinking of it this way. Why is Lane Thomas in the way, Ryan? What makes you think Lane Thomas is in the way of James Wood? Well, I'm valuing both sides of this right now. Number one, you know about what James Wood can do offensively. He's had his struggles, but still. James Wood is James Wood, the #1 prospect in all of baseball, the face of the organization moving forward. Everything that you wanted, everything that you've dreamed about, the Juan Soto deal, it means so much to have James Wood develop. He is not a natural left fielder. I know the Nationals. You know them too. You know Davey Martinez and the way that he is loyal. It's great. I love it as a manager, but here's where it gets in the way. He will not move off of Lane Thomas in right field. That is where James Wood should belong. They will not put Lane Thomas in left field. They just won't. Lane Thomas was a Gold Glove finalist last year in right field. He is a very good right fielder. It doesn't necessarily make sense to move him over to left and move over to James Wood. I'm sure they know and understand that James Wood means everything to them, but they can't quit Lane Thomas, and they will not be able to quit Lane Thomas. I'm telling you, I have read this book before, and you have read this book before as well. Lane Thomas, I love the guy, but trade him. You have your future right here and right now with James Wood. What are you going to do with it? Stick him in left field? He will never be a left fielder. He is way too good defensively to play in left field. He's either going to be your right fielder or your center fielder. And even then, on the other side of the coin, he ain't moving Jacob Young out of center field right now. If he's going to be playing in the outfield, he's your center fielder. He is a very good defensive center fielder. It makes no sense to move off him right now. You're not going to trade him either. This guy has showed promise. He has flown through the net system. He's cheap right now, and he's got a ton of years left of control for the team. He's going to be your fourth outfielder going forward. You have to do everything that you can to have James Wood prosper, to make this kid comfortable, to do everything that you can. If he needs his shoes shined, you shine his shoes. If someone needs to chew his bubblegum before he chews his bubblegum, you chew his bubblegum. If you need to spit out his sunflower seeds for him and have a cup right there for him, you have that cup right there for him. You do everything that you can to cater to James Wood. Make it as easy as possible for this guy to flourish up in the majors. That is what 2024 is about. He is here. He is not leaving. You have to cater to James Wood. And in my opinion, James Wood should be in right field. That is why I want to see Lane Thomas traded. And also, that's just where James Wood naturally should be. He's way too good defensively to stick him in left. Way too good of an arm right now. James Wood, right field. Marry those two things. Move forward with Lane Thomas being traded. That's all I have to say. That's my first goal. I do have a second one. And it's not about James Wood. Keibert Ruiz. Do whatever you can to step it up offensively and defensively. Defensively, there's only one way for you to go, my friend. Up. Better. Frame better. Have a better pop time. Just don't be the worst defensive catcher in baseball. Offensively, hit for a little bit of power, man. You've had 6 home runs this year across 70 games and 250 at-bats. Last year, you had 18 home runs in 523 at-bats. You stayed healthy the entire year. 136 games played. You're solid. You had a 98 OPS plus. You were right around league average. Still a tick below league average offensively. A 717 OPS. Not bad for a catcher who caught basically every single day. But this season, every single number offensively is down, and it's not even close. Catch up with this real quick. He has got 30 strikeouts through his first 70 games. Last year, he had 58 strikeouts in a total of 136 games. 250 at-bats this year, 523 last year. He's on pace to have more strikeouts. He is on pace right now. He has a 220 batting average, a 256 OBP, a 328 slug, and a 584 OPS. All those numbers are well below average. Well below average. Well below what we expect from him. Because again, this guy has actually got some pop. And if you remember his 23 games as a rookie with the Nationals, he was a really solid offensive piece for us. You just didn't really get to see it, unfortunately. He had 14 RBIs in just 23 games with the Nationals back in 2021 when he was first traded here. Since then, it hasn't been all that great. 2022, he was fine. A 673 OPS. Last year, he took a step up, but still the inconsistencies were still there. This year, it has been bad all around. You have your extension now. You got to take a step up in any of those departments possible. Show us some life. Simple as that. Keibert Ruiz, you will be getting watched in the second half of 2024. Last but not least, again, this is kind of a selfish one. I think you can look a little bit more into it, but it just kind of gives us a basis of what I want to see. Mackenzie Gore and Jake Irvin finished 2024 with a sub-3.4 ERA. Right now, Jake Irvin has a 3.49 ERA after getting pummeled these last two starts. Simple as that. That's just what happened. And then Mackenzie Gore has an ERA that's inflated up to a 4.01. Now, their underlying numbers are not bad. Jake Irvin has only walked 2.3 batters per nine. Mackenzie Gore is walking 3.5 batters per nine, striking out 10.5 per nine. Both those numbers are up / down for the walk rate goes, so those are better this year. Jake Irvin walking 1.5 batters less per nine this year. His strikeout rate is right around the same from what it was last year. But Jake Irvin and Mackenzie Gore show us what you are, what you've showed us over the first half of the season, besides these last few weeks, you could say. You guys are looking like front-of-the-line guys. But at this point in time, there are some questions being raised about you. Can you be the front-of-the-line kind of starters at the Nationals, and myself included, we're thinking that you could be? We'll just have to see. But again, those are my goals for the second half of the Nationals season. Let's talk about this Red Series. Get you a quick little preview of it. And when we do that, Patrick Corbin is on the bump tonight. Fun. Can't wait. Right? No. I'll tell you guys about that, but let's get into it. SupplyHouse. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, SupplyHouse.com. SupplyHouse.com is a reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support, industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business, and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free Trade Master program. Every Trade Master gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. Now we tell you about our friends over at FanDuel. And guys, you already know about FanDuel and how much I love them. So I love sports. I love them so much, and I know you do as well. And we never want them to stop. But as the playoffs have wound down, we have fewer games. And the sports aren't sportsing like I want them to. But FanDuel lets me keep the sports going whenever I want. All I have to do is open the app and dream up bets anytime I'm in the mood. And this summer, FanDuel is hooking up all customers with a boost or bonus daily. That's right. There's something for everyone every day, all summer long. So head over to FanDuel.com and start making the most out of your summer. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. Now we get back into it with a little bit of a preview for the Washington Nationals and the Cincinnati Reds. Tonight, Patrick Corbin against Frankie Montas. And again, Patrick Corbin going up against one of the better pitchers for the Cincinnati Reds with Frankie Montas. Good luck. Well, got to preview tonight's game? Nah, come on. Tomorrow, Mackenzie Gore against Nick Lodolo. We've just already talked about Mackenzie Gore, what we want to see. Lodolo's actually had a very good season for the Cincinnati Reds. Again, a 3.33 ERA through 14 starts. He's got a 1.12 whip on the season. He's got 81 Ks and 78 in a third innings pitched so far. Left-handed pitching, Lane Thomas. He's in the lineup. Go over to FanDuel. I'm just saying, I told you so. I'm saying I told you so. But Sunday, Jake Irvin against Andrew Abbott. One of the better pitchers again. You're seeing three very good pitchers for the Cincinnati Reds this weekend. They are sitting at 47-50 on the season. You see Jake Irvin for your Nationals on Sunday. This will be some very intriguing matchups, in my opinion. It bodes well for Lane Thomas. You're seeing 2 lefties. Unfortunately, it doesn't really bode too well for our top prospect with James Wood. Can he get his second home run as a big leaguer? That's what I'll be watching for. But right now, my money is on Lane Thomas. So, Ellie De La Cruz comes to town. That'll be cool. We want to see Ellie De La Cruz. But will the Nationals get back on track after a much-needed All-Star break? We'll have that, hopefully, maybe, after this little weekend. We'll see. I don't know. I'm feeling a little deflated. But I'm glad baseball is back for the duration of 2024. Until then, I will see you on the other hand. That sounded weird. I'll see you someday. How about that? Have a good one. Go Nats.